we're driving up to an intersection. Dad opens the car while we're driving and gets out and says he's not going. So now we have to decide, like, do we go after Dad or do we take Mom? We already have to apologize to assisted living and figure that mess out.
Welcome to the Our Family Invest podcast, where we explore what happens when family, purpose, and entrepreneurship align. I'm Mike, a former Maui firefighter who reached financial freedom in just 5 years through real estate investing.
And I'm Caroline, a Maui-based realtor, here to educate, empower, and elevate my clients to make smart real estate moves, whether right here at home or through my nationwide network.
Together, we're chasing our full potential as individuals, as a couple, and as a family. We're here to build a life that matters. And each week we share the stories of couples who inspire us to love harder, dream bigger, and grow bolder. So join us and let's learn, share, and grow together.
High five, we are back.
We're back again. So this is actually the third podcast that we're recording in the same day. This one is going to be a little bit different because this is going to be a supplementary add-on kind of podcast because we've had so many people reaching out, and I'm so grateful because, you know, some of you know that we've been going through kind of a family health crisis, and we wanted to open that door a little bit and let you in to what's been going on and just reiterate how grateful we are to those of you who have reached out, who have offered support and assistance during this really difficult time.
And if we haven't responded or we've taken more time, this is kind of why. And also just it's kind of difficult reliving the story over and over again while you're still going through it. And so this is kind of our way to pull back the curtain, share a little bit about what's going on. Definitely was a little hesitant, but I hope that the people who have walked this path before us can maybe offer some guidance, and also that things that we have learned along the way and failed at that we can share, and just like our current struggles.
Well,
so
we're certainly not the only people that are going through this, right? And I know like so many people have reached out, oh, I had to do this with my dad, or, oh, I'm going through something like this right now with my mom, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so if we can be any kind of light, and again, we don't know anything. We are learning this as we go. But to break it down, we've got both of Caroline's parents are struggling with dementia. And we started seeing this probably a couple of years ago, just like little things, right?
Yeah, which, you know, can be attributed to age. And then 8 months ago, it started to be a lot more noticeable, more so with Mom. And then 2 months ago, 3 months ago, it started to be a lot more noticeable with Dad. And then I'd say it was further
than that, because we've been trying to get them into an assisted living facility for over a year. And
longer.
The problem is, like, if we reverse this even further, one of the tips that I would say to anyone is have a family plan, right? Have an estate plan. And that doesn't just mean wills and trusts, which those are great for sure, but you need to know passwords. You need to be on bank accounts. You know, you need to have all these kinds of things that you're not thinking about. Like just today, we had to get on the phone with a realtor to take down the internet box, modem, and return that to the provider. And we're doing this in Canada too. So there's a little bit that's different because obviously we live in the States. Her parents are living in Canada, so it is a challenge.
And it wasn't just asking a realtor to get the box. No. It was submitting a certified power of attorney, which I signed in person. International, maybe it's a little bit different, but to the phone and internet company, where then their legal team deliberates over it, gets back to me. And this is just to close off their internet and phone. So imagine bigger accounts. It's just a process.
So that power of attorney is 100% key. And that's something that you've got to have.
Yeah.
You've got to get that early on, because if they are beyond the state of being able to make rational decisions, then they will not allow your parents or whoever it may be to sign that power of attorney and invoke the rights to you.
Yeah.
So we had to go through that. But, you know, taking this back, I mean, we've been trying to get your dad to come up with an estate plan for 15 years, probably. And he
kept the emails.
He kept the emails that we'd send him, or the conversations that we had.
Quite some time.
He was always this, you guys are smart, you'll figure it out, and nothing bad will ever happen to me kind of guy. And I know that's not uncommon, right? And then my mother-in-law, her mom, is the type where I've never learned how to drive. I don't know where our bank accounts are. I don't know anything. I'm just along for the ride. And I don't mean to like downplay her significance at all in the family, but she was never into any of those things. So he knew all the details, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward now, a year ago, probably, we started trying to get them to go into assisted living.
A lot more actively. And that is now almost 2 years because we have them. I had them on the waiting list and they had it come up about a year and 8 months ago.
Right.
So they had the opportunity to move to more of assisted living. You know, you're cleaning, you're cooking. We're learning different terminology too. I mean, we went into this kind of blind and we learned the crash course while we were jumping from
what is
the
assisted
parachute.
living.
So it's going to be different in the US, I'm sure.
Probably.
So the assisted living versus the independent living is very similar, but if it's publicly funded in Canada, then you can go by assisted living, which is the same as independent living. So they should not have been in that space.
So independent living, if you're not familiar, is essentially like living in a condo, right? You have a stove a lot of times, sometimes not. You've got a dining hall where maybe they cook meals for you, but you can come and go kind of as you please, right?
Yeah.
As we go up from there, assisted living are kind of like add-ons that you can have as well.
Same services, but then you can also have, like, maybe they'll have an RN on staff, or maybe they'll have beyond the salon, they'll have care services that are all add-ons, that medication administration or physical therapy or different services that can come to you.
Yep.
And you can pay for those. Yep. While still feeling independent, still going to the dining hall for meals, etc.
Correct.
So you still have services, but you have more options. Right. And then you've got the long-term care, which splits into complex care, behavioral health, and there are places that are for dementia and Alzheimer's that they have the units available for that too. You have secure facilities, you have level 2 floor securities where things are murals instead of doors, or so people don't know that it is an exit. It's just very
Think about
complex.
It as you move the lock to the outside of the door and they lock you in after hours.
Some are nicer than others.
Some are way nicer than others. Some of these places, I mean, what was it, the White Cliff that we saw in Surrey? Holy smokes, dude, I would have moved into this place. It was like a luxury cruise ship on land. I mean,
it was amazing. Yeah. It was also, their complex care was $20,000 a person per month.
Super.
So
this stuff adds up very, very quickly, right?
Yes.
So anyway,
we're kind of getting off.
We're getting off track, but it all folds back around. So we went and we tried so many times to get them into assisted living. And my father-in-law is the most stubborn person on the planet. And he's, oh, no, we'll think about it, blah, 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 blah. Right. So it never happened. Well, this summer we were planning a trip up to Coeur d'Alene. And we said, you know what, let's go out for the summer. We'll spend some time with them in Vancouver, see how far along they are, because we were noticing things when we would FaceTime with them that were like
a little alarming.
Like they would leave the stove on to heat the house, right? And we would relay this information to the caseworkers. But the caseworkers were like, look, we went and visited them, and because they can dress themselves and because they can feed themselves
and say no,
they're fine.
Yeah.
And so they didn't see what we saw. And so we're like, look, let's go up there. Let's figure this out. And so we get up there and holy smokes, right away, we noticed they're way further along with dementia than we anticipated.
And mom has been asking for help for a very long time and just relying on dad to push the needle.
Yep.
And so with two people that can't be logical or make decisions, their capacity to maybe even make that decision to move forward wouldn't necessarily have been there, and definitely not now. It would be because of past habits. So the decision-making mechanism gone. It's too difficult. And so the fast forward of that is they both agreed after we looked at multiple. So we had a list. We had to call, first of all, to make sure who was even available in the lower mainland within an hour to hour and a half radius of who had availability, because a lot of these, like I said, on the one, we were on a wait list for 2 years. The other one had a 4-year wait list, and you put deposits on a lot of them. And it's based on availability, and we'll leave that to your imagination. There can be a variety of reasons as to why a room becomes available. But anyways, we looked at a bunch of them. Mike sourced which ones had availability. Then we made appointments with all of them. Learn from our mistakes. You do not take people with dementia to look at all of the units. Bad idea. You pick one and you take them to it. And like showcase it then. Let them have the meal then. Well, we tried to, give the options that were available, and that was too much. Learn from our mistakes. Fast forward, last day before driving out to our pre-booked vacation,
So I want to go back a little bit though, because I think we need to kind of reiterate how much help that they needed, right? And so by giving an example, I remember you were trying to get the power of attorney all signed off, get on the bank accounts and all that. I had taken them somewhere, or I was taking them home. And we pulled into their house, and my father-in-law's office had been locked for who knows how long. Lights were on, the computer's on, but he didn't know where the key was to unlock that door. And so this is, probably day 3 of us being there, I'd say. And we are downstairs, and my mother-in-law is got a pair of socks, and she's opening them up to put them on, and a key falls out. And I pick up the key, and it says office on it. And I was like, oh, look at that. And I hand it to my father-in-law. I was like, what do you think this key is for? And he's like, he looks at it, turns it over, and he's like, that must be the key for the front door. I was like, oh, it kind of took me back a little bit. And so he kept trying to work it on the front door, and he couldn't get it to work. And I could watch him struggling with it because he couldn't figure out really how a key worked at that point. And so I remember taking it from him after he was struggling, and I just put it in the office door, and I unlocked the door, and I opened it. And this is the first time that office had been opened in, well, at least since we've been there, who knows how long, right? And so I said, look, Dad, it was the office key. And then I asked him, where did I get this key? And he looked at me and he said, oh, you got it right over there on the desk. And the desk was in the office. And I said, no, Dad, I didn't. He said, you got it from that bookcase over there. It's like, no, Dad, I didn't. Well, yeah, you did. I saw you. I was like, no, Dad. And my mother-in-law is sitting on the stairs still trying to figure out how to put on her socks. I said, Dad, it came out of the socks that Mom's trying to put on. And he just looked at me in amazement. And I think this was the first time that he actually realized that there was something wrong with him. And so he said, well, why wouldn't anyone tell me that I had a problem? And we're like, Dad, all the doctors have been telling you this. And so at that point, I realized we are way, way further along than we thought. Like, we need to get them in somewhere right now. And so that's when we took it on ourselves to go visit a few of these other facilities without them. And because there is no availability in Lower Vancouver area. I mean, they're
so full. And if they do have one or two, it's a wait list, and they're going through the wait list, giving everyone 24 hours to respond. It's so crazy.
So we went and visited a whole bunch of these places, and finally the day we were leaving, we visited a lot of places, and we found there's one that's like right close to them. It's beautiful. It's got this garden area. They were already on the wait list, but it's like a 4-year wait list for this place. And so I just walked in there on a Saturday. I think I dropped you off at somewhere to
Nico and I were still in the car because he was sleeping.
Okay. So anyway, I walk in and I talk to the front desk lady, and I'm, Mr. Charming. And she's like, well, we have them on the wait list for a 2-bedroom. I was like, oh, no, they're good with the 1-bedroom. She's like, well, we have a 1-bedroom that just opened up, but we have to go through our list and all this stuff. I was like, look, is there any way you can? She's like, look, come back on Monday. Our director of marketing or whoever she is comes in that day, and you can talk to her. She would be the one to make the decision. And so we come in on Monday, and we called her. We called her on Monday.
Yeah.
And she's like, we do have 1 unit. She's like, it's not the most desirable one because it sits in a corner and it doesn't have a very good view and all these things. I was like, that's perfect. We'll take it. She's like, well, it doesn't really work like that. Like, our nurse has to assess them and make sure that they'd be a good fit. And we do have them on the wait list for a 2-bedroom, all this stuff again. I was like, look, I can bring them in there right now and we can go through this. She's like, well, the nurse has to be available. She's in meetings until 2:30. We were leaving town this day. I was like,
we will wait.
All right, we'll wait. 2:30 it is. If anything opens sooner, please let us know. Hang up the phone. 15 seconds later, she calls back and she's like, the nurse is available now. Can you get them in here? Like, yes, we're on our way. Please wait for us. So we drove from where we were, which we were definitely not staying with them at their house, to their house, basically woke them up and we're like, we got to go now. Yeah. And so they remembered who we were, which is good. They struggled putting on clothes, but we got them in and we got them into the car. We had to figure out the seatbelts for them because they lost that ability. And then we drove over there. So all in all, probably within 20 to 30 minutes, we were at the facility. And we walk in and the nice thing is when they're together, they present pretty well. They're just kind of a cute older couple. And, we're walking through with the nurse and with the director. And probably about, 30 minutes or so, we see the whole property. And then you took them down to the dining hall or something like that, right? And I stayed back with the nurse. I was like, nurse, what do you think? Like, they're a really sweet couple. Yeah, but are they able to call 911 if they need help and all this? Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. And, I did want to let them know, like, hey, they are pretty far along. Are you sure you can handle that? But I was confident that they could call 911. And they're like, okay, well, are they going to be a threat to anyone else when they're in the building? Do they wander? All this.
Like anger.
That's like, they're the most gentle people. Of course not. They're fine. And as far as we knew, they had no history of wandering or anything like that. So they agreed to let them move in. Like, great. Because in order to get, this is another important point, in order to get to assisted living care, or to long-term care or to complex care, they have to be in a facility already. It's really, really hard to get them in if they're not in already. So we're like, great, we have to leave, but we will be back. Now this is in a week to get them signed and get them moved in because they couldn't move in until the end of the month anyway.
Yeah, they had to clean it and they had just
had someone leave. So anyway, we're all excited. We're all happy. We leave them. We say, great. We gotta go to Kelowna, down to Coeur d'Alene, and we'll be back in a week and we'll sign the papers and we will get in. Right. So we get back a week later and go to take them first thing in the morning.
We drove 9 hours because we hit traffic. This is the second time crossing the border, third time crossing the border, actually. And, Dad says, and we've been talking every day or every other day on the phone with video. So he
so
sees
excited.
us,
this is happening.
Can't wait.
It's going to be amazing. Your new house.
Pack your toothbrush and 3 outfits. That's what I asked them to do.
Yep.
Yeah, none of that got done. But they knew what was happening. We arrive and Dad says, I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm not going. I never agreed to this.
Hey family, real quick. If you'd rather watch your content, head over to Our Family Invests on YouTube. You'll find this episode and all our episodes over there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your takeaways in the comments. Now, back to the show. So that didn't set us off on a good tone.
So we're like,
fast forward, we took Mom. Mom still wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. So we decided to get mom in there.
Yeah. And
So
she
signed the papers. Like, great. Now we had 3 days to furnish this thing and get her in.
Source and
furnish everything for a 1-bedroom condo. All right. We can do this. We're real estate investors, right?
And we thought that was going to be the tough part.
But then we decided.
No, not just we decided. All their friends and their circle decided that she should not go back to the house. And maybe by move-in day, Dad would be hungry and miss her enough to want to move in as well. And they're like, he could have a change of heart. So we bought the $1,000 hotel room, the only hotel in Tawasin, and we had her stay with us. And that's when we saw firsthand. I mean, she was up at least 5 times that night, not to mention the day from us checking in to wander the halls.
Yeah.
And we could not get anything done.
We couldn't. And so her sister and her brother-in-law came and actually took them back with them to Vancouver Island for a couple of nights.
At their place. So that we could furnish. And they were coming back also because she is close with her sister. So we had arranged, like, it would be really fun for them to stay overnight because they have guest suites. So we had rented and reserved the guest suite for them to come over on move-in day to have lunch and dinner with mom and dad and stay overnight. And so it worked out that they took mom, which she wandered during that time frame. And we hustled. We closed up IKEA every night. And thank you for our circle that just like helped with Nico, just helped us to get this stuff done. So then we furnished it and down to the second that they all walked in.
Yeah. So what happened is when her sister and brother-in-law came back on the ferry,
they picked up
Dad. And by this time he hadn't eaten in 3 days because he couldn't figure out how to eat. We saw later that he had like a pie in the fridge, but he couldn't figure out how to open it. So he just, like a bear, he just like opened the middle of this thing and just started going at it. And so it was really telling for us because once he got there, he was so eager to eat. And then we got him to sign the papers too that night. He's like, I'll move in. This sounds great. They have free food. What do we have to do for this? So anyway, that was our way of basically getting him to sign. They moved in that night. And
it was really cute.
It was really cute.
We got everything down to dishes, not that they needed them, to plasticware, to Kleenex and toilet paper for a year, and all their bedding and everything like that. I got a phone call within 24 hours of them being there. Maybe
less than 12
maybe
hours.
12 of mom's wandering, dad's not coming back in the unit. She went into someone else's room. And so
this is their new facility. Like, they've never done anything like this before. Like, as far as we know, like
they need a couple days to transition. I would turn right if they are turning left, so day 2, so after dropping them off, we hustled to the house because now we have to empty the house. We've got 3 more days to empty the house. To empty the house, to get everything hauled, to get it cleaned, and then photos. And so from one job site to the next, and 35 years of stuff. So we start doing that. We go home that night.
Next day, let's go. And they, at this point, they had both lost their cell phones. They both lost their passports. Mom lost her entire wallet.
Yeah.
And this is not uncommon. So we get back to the house and we start unloading as much of this stuff as we can. And I think, was it that next day?
It was day 2.
Day 2 of them being there.
Yeah. We had a FaceTime call. I'm just about to hop in the shower.
We find one of the cell phones and we plug it in at their house, right? And by this time, we had moved everything out into the driveway, all the big furniture and stuff like that, because we were doing estate sales and we had sold stuff all day and we are going to do it again the following day.
2 days.
Right?
Yeah.
So 2 days of estate sales and then 1 day of calling 505 junk to come in and remove everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the second day, you had just gotten out of the shower. I was about to go in. We
It's
get a
9 o'clock at
FaceTime.
night.
Yep, we get a FaceTime call from the phone that we found. So we answer it, and mom's in the living room telling us the grand piano got stolen. And they are supposed to be at the assisted living.
Yeah, they don't drive. We literally had their car disconnected, so they couldn't drive.
Probably should omit that.
Yeah. So we don't know how they got there. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know where dad is. And they're at this house now, and they're seeing all their stuff in the driveway.
Painful.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And then as we're on the phone with them, we get another call from the director, the nurse over at the Augustine
They
house.
are on lockdown.
They're on, yeah. Are you with your parents? Like, we don't see them here anywhere.
They're searching for them.
Okay. Hold on. We'll call you back. And so we run over to the house. Dad's outside with some guy that's like trying to take all of his stuff
for the free.
Dad's trying to move it all back in.
Yeah.
Right. So we're like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? So it's a long conversation to get them both back in the car. Mom's very amenable. She's like, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing.
She's like, I don't know why I'm here or how I got here.
How I got here. Neither of them knew how they got there.
But she was starting to get distressed with dad being so upset. Correct. So the assisted living place was telling us, like, you need to get back here. You need to figure this out.
Yep.
So we got them in the car. Mom is now getting a little bit frustrated. She wants to get back home. They both get into the vehicle. Dad's not happy. Mom's starting to freak out. And we drive them back to the assisted living. On our way back, we're driving up to an intersection. Dad opens the car while we're driving and gets out and says he's not going. So now we have to decide, like, do we go after dad or do we take mom? We already have to apologize to assisted living and figure that mess out. Yep. So we're a block from the house. We're figure memory. Dad's going to be able to get home. Let's take mom right now.
We know where dad's going. Let's get mom back to the Augustine house. So we do that. We get mom back and settled in her room. Mom, you can't leave. You got to stay here. We'll call you in the morning. We'll come see you, like all that kind of stuff. Right. Then we head back to the house. Now it's 9:30, 9:45 at night, and dad's not at the house.
The stove is on.
Hadn't been there. The stove is on, but no one's there. We're like, okay, well, let's drive around and find him. We drive around the neighborhood, can't find him. So we call the police. And in the meantime, we have some good friends who are geriatric nurses. And
thank goodness.
And all the people in their circle. And we're like, hey, help us, help guide us. And they're like, look, he needs to have a psychological evaluation. And he's got to do that at the hospital. You got to get somebody else involved because for whatever reason. All right. So we're like, well, maybe the best thing we can do is actually get the police involved to find them right now. And so we called the Delta police and they were amazing.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is accurate because in my mindset, the person has to be missing for 24 hours unless it's a minor. And then we start deploying services.
Oh, no.
It felt scary because I didn't want to utilize their services like that.
Correct.
But it was drones with heat signatures, canine units, multiple foot officers.
They had 4 people on the case like that.
Oh, yeah, probably more.
And so they were talking about getting the drones in the air and all this stuff. And it had been like, we had been talking to them for like 45 minutes searching, and they were like ready to go. So before they were able to get the drones in the air.
Kudos to Delta Police Department.
Yeah, kudos to them for sure. But we basically told him, like, look, he's going to his house. There's no other place he would go.
At some point,
he's going to be back at the house. Let's stage some people there. So they did. They got a unit over there, and we're like, look, we're going to go back to the house, and this is
now about midnight. Yeah.
And so the officers, as we were rolling up, the officers were walking down the street with dad. And so at that point,
he didn't know where he had come from. He's like, I just went for a walk around the block.
Yeah. He didn't see what the big deal was. And we're like, look, dad, we got to get you to a hospital and just get you checked out. Cause maybe he's got some kind of sepsis or something, some kind of infection that's maybe amplifying his dementia. And the
And
police,
he wanted to go back to the assisted living, but that was not an option.
oh yeah, they did not want him back at that point. So he finally agreed to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So that night, that was a Saturday night. And
He wouldn't get assessed till Monday.
it was 2:00 in the morning by the time we got there, and or 1:30, something like that. And yeah, he wasn't going to get assessed until Monday, but we got him in the system, which actually helped to speed up the process with the local insurance, I don't know, healthcare company. What are they?
It's basically, yeah, the geriatric universal health system.
Okay.
And so, but he hasn't left. And
So we're going on 3 weeks.
Yeah. And so he never got to leave the hospital after being admitted. He did have some medication changes, and the process is such a long process. I mean, it's quick but long, and it's right now we're still in it, and it feels messy and it feels hard. Everyone reassures us this is the best situation for him. Unfortunately,
It
doesn't feel like it.
Right.
And working on reunification with two separate case managers, case workers for both parents at the same time in different avenues, but the same field is very challenging. And mom has 24/7 care aides. In order for her to stay at the assisted living, she has to have someone with her at all times to redirect her. If she is not redirectable, as we have come to learn, she was very redirectable, and it's proving a little more challenging now. And so if that continues, then we have another hurdle to get over. But in the meantime, we have someone there every 8 hours, they switch. Yep. So she's always got someone, which she doesn't love.
The assisted living facility let us know, hey, we are not equipped for this. And
granted,
we did try to warn them, like, hey, they may be a little further along than you think. Are you sure? And they were willing to try it out, but it was within 48 hours that they were like, we can't handle it.
You have to take her to get assessed as well.
During this time, now we have, by this point, we have the entire house vacated. There's nothing left in there. We had the junk guys come. They came, and within 8 hours, they had moved everything else out of the house. And the house was up for sale now. And so I think what really is working in our favor, and this sounds awful, but is the fact that we don't live nearby, because it would have been, look, they need home health care. That's your only option right now.
They would have sent them home with us.
Now they don't have a home, right? So that works in our favor. Well, can't they go to your home? Nope. We live out of country. We have no insurance for them.
The assisted living will not take that.
The assisted living will not take them back. So now the healthcare providers in South Vancouver are like, all right, well, they get moved to like this super high priority list of get them a bed, and they will not be in the same facility.
We're trying.
They're going to try, but it may be a few steps to get them there. And because
you've missed the fact too, that the first night that we took dad to the ER, the second night we had to take mom to the ER in order for this system to work. It's just so crazy. Yeah. But we were back, and with another parent on another floor. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. So the whole situation is really awful, and it really went downhill very, very fast, because a lot of the neighbors that we talked to when we were selling stuff are like, well, they're just a cute old couple. They're fine.
Except for the ones
then the ones directly across are like, yeah, I thought something was odd, because remember I said they didn't know how to open the front door or the key. So they had a ladder at the back of the house, and they were climbing up onto the roof.
They're 86
and they were
years
going
old.
Around the house to get in one of the windows
Second
that they
story.
left open on the second story. Again, they're 86 years old. They don't walk that great. So that's a little telling.
We had neighbors come up and thank us for moving them out before something bad happened. And it's just, you never really know what's really happening until you're on the ground. And that's kind of why we went. We just didn't know that all of this was happening, or how far the decline was, and that it's continuing to decline. So
sadly their bodies are in pretty good shape. It's just that their mind, well, no, I mean, sadly that their minds are deteriorating, and their bodies are still physically, they should be able to do a lot more stuff. So where we're at right now, mom is still at the assisted living facility as long as she has a 24/7 nurse
awaiting
support.
a long-term care option.
She's awaiting the long-term care option. And we gave her the cell phone that we had found. And we did end up finding both of their passports and mom's wallet. The other cell phone we still haven't found.
Might still be in the garden.
Might be in a garden. Who knows? But anyway, mom is there and she is able to make FaceTime calls with us. We made that very simple for her to do that. So she calls us about 6 to 8 times a day. Doesn't remember that she's been calling us all day.
And I have 2 scheduled times.
We have 2 scheduled times
for the day and the evening, because she gets really frustrated.
My father-in-law is the kind of guy who loves fresh air. He loves to be out in nature. And he has been in the same hospital gown for 3 weeks. He has not left the building. And
except
that
once with a neighbor.
Except when a neighbor came and took him out. But that is just heartbreaking for us. And so we are very much still in the thick of this, and we don't know how it's going to end. But we wanted to give you guys an update as to where we're at right now. And thank you for everyone who's has reached out and
our prayer circles. Like, we literally could not have done it without the prayer support, and then the support of her sister and brother-in-law taking her for a couple days, and the Abarcas watching Nico and just hanging out with him and hosting us. And talk about partnership skills to a whole new level, because if you had not been there, I would not have been able to do it.
Neither one of us would have been able to do any of this on our own. No way. I don't know what people would do.
And we thought that the furnishing in a day and a half was going to be difficult. That was the easy part. We wish it was all of that. And I think, unfortunately, this has really been a lot longer than I expected our update to be. But in short, just really grateful for the support, and not to take on pity or to ask for empathy, but also anyone that has gone through this, or even just caretaking for a family member, is so hard. It is one of the most sacrificial, not only sacrificial, but burning out type of roles that one can play. And I wish that there was better support. And when the director of the universal health system tells you that they apologize and the system has failed them, that is just really hard. And I feel for those families that are going through this, because it is not easy. And for those that have walked that path before us, if you have words of wisdom or things that we should think about, please feel free to reach out. And if we can be a resource, we are still in it, and we are still learning, and we are still navigating all of it, not to mention the responsibilities of the POA portion of that. Holy Toledo. Man. That is a whole nother animal.
Yep.
We are happy to do that. And also in sharing this too, because we have had so many people reach out because they care, it's just really hard to relive the story over and over again while we're still in it. And so hopefully this podcast can serve as a crazy update that I'm sorry if it was long-winded. It's so emotional without having the chance to be emotional. So I am sure that the processing is going to come whenever life settles down, but we have been going solid since end of May. So
I think if we can just impress one thing upon our listeners who have not gone through anything like this, is how important it is to make sure, or to impress upon your loved ones the importance of having not just a will and a trust, but that power of attorney and that estate planning where you know where all the bank accounts are, what the passwords are for all of them, and your computer or your Apple ID, all that stuff.
It all matters. And
there's so much more than you think there is.
Yeah. And just like simple things like turning off the internet is a process. And if you don't have the documents in place, they are going to get charged for the rest of their lives. So it's one of those things like you don't realize how much work it is or how detailed it is until you're in it. So definitely an open book. And we are still writing the chapters. And I'm hoping for a good outcome because none of the options feel awesome.
But I'm grateful to be doing it with you because there's no one else I would want to do this
Mike
with.
had no idea what he was signing up for and marrying me. So I'm super grateful. And we have heard that like the number one choice you make that makes such a difference in your life is who you do life with. Choose your partner wisely because I am grateful for you.
Oh, yeah. I'd do it 100 times over for you, baby.
Great.
But I hope I don't have to. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Bye.
Thanks for being part of the family today. If you want a closer look at our journey through real life, business, and all the wild adventures, follow us on Instagram at Our Family Invest. And for free resources to help you on your own path, head to ourfamilyinvest.com.
If you like this episode, send it to a friend. And if you're feeling extra generous, drop us a quick review. It really helps us grow this community. Thank you so much for being part of our family today. We really, truly appreciate you.